Over here. Face me.
Hey Mario, keep running your mouth. Get ready to throw some blows.
Saul Sanchez, tonight we're going to see who has bigger balls.
Now entering the ring, in the red corner, Mighty Mario Hernandez. Across the ring in the blue corner, Saul the Beast Sanchez. Action here at the Omega Products International Event Center. It is 3-2-1 Boxing, proudly presented to you by Thompson Boxing Promotions, in association with and being sponsored by Thompson Building Materials, Henry Fortifiber, Infinity Bank, Western Manufacturing, Makita Tools, and a special acknowledgement to our sponsor, Sir Mix. This bout, 8 rounds in the super flyweight division. Our judges scoring at ringside are Raul Gais Jr., Fernando Villarreal, and Ron Scott Stevens. At the sound of the bell, the third man in the ring, referee Rudy Barragan. Presenting first, the fighter standing in the red corner. He enters wearing black with green and gold trim. He weighed in officially at 114 1/2 pounds. And tonight, he enters the ring in his 13th bout as a pro, with an outstanding record of 10 victories against 1 lone defeat, 1 draw, 3 of those victories coming by way of KO. Fighting out of Santa Ana, California, Mighty Mario Hernandez. Across the ring in the blue corner, wearing white with black trim, he weighed in at an official 115 pounds. In his 16th pro bout, he too maintains an outstanding record of 14 victories, with 1 lone defeat, 8 of those victories coming by way of KO. Representing Pacoima, California, Saul the Beast Sanchez.
Center ring, guys. Chief seconds also. Good job. Belts are great, guys, okay? You both got your instructions. Protect yourselves at all times and obey my commands at all times, okay? Good luck to you both. 8 rounds.
Let's see how these junior bantamweights match up. Saul Sanchez at age 23 is the younger man. He's the taller man, and he is the more rangy fighter.
And so we begin our second bout of the night, scheduled for 8 rounds in the junior bantamweight division. Saul Sanchez taking on Mario Hernandez. And Sanchez, I think, actually is a young man at a loss for words. Physically very strong, coming off a first-round devastation of Daniel Lozano on October 9th in Kissimmee, Florida.
That fight was at junior featherweight. That was at 122 pounds. They just did it for the exposure, just for the fight. There was a regional title on the line. But Manny Robles will tell you that Saul's place is at 118 or 115.
And you can see early on, Saul Sanchez trying to jump on Hernandez very early, taking control of the center of the ring.
He has an aggressive, athletic boxer style. He has a nice stiff jab, likes to put 2 and 3 punch combinations together, really good speed. He has the athletic edge in this matchup.
Yeah, one thing that Manny Robles noted is that he actually wants Saul Sanchez, who seems to put everything into every punch as he digs to the body, wants him to relax a little bit more. Feint a little bit more, set things up with the jab. Saul Sanchez will fall into the habit of making every punch basically the same velocity and tempo. Wants to get him to be a little bit less repetitive inside that ring.
Yeah. With Hernandez, we have a guy who's used to being busy. He's got a good foundation. I would say modest punching power, but he makes up for that with just his work ethic and his fighting heart.
And we did talk about ring rust earlier for Hernandez. Hails from Santa Ana, California. His last bout was in September of 2019 as he decisioned Jesse Ruiz in 6.
And that was his second victory after suffering his first career loss. That was against Luis Fernando Saverda. And I was at that fight. Called that with Beto Duran. And Hernandez had to get up from a first-round knockdown.
Speaking of Beto, we want to give him our well wishes.
Absolutely.
He's going through some stuff right now.
Yeah.
Beto, if you're out there, we're all thinking about
Hey,
you.
get well soon, Beto. Hernandez showed me a lot of character in that loss. He was in with a taller, rangier, more athletic fighter with an awkward style. And he tried his best, but it was just too much coming back from the knockdown, and he was hurt after that knockdown in the opening round. But I recall he closed the fight very strong. So.
And Hernandez having a pretty good moment here,
Yeah,
digging to the body of Sanchez, outworking him here in the last stages of round number 1.
Yeah, Hernandez is a worker. He's gonna let his hands go, and he's not afraid to stick his nose in there and fight in the pocket.
And both men going inside the pocket, letting their hands go to end the first round of what's been a back and forth first stanza here at the Omega Products Event Center. 3-2-1 boxing. And Doug, speaking of junior bantamweights, it was announced yesterday that the rematch between Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez and Juan Francisco Estrada will take place in March of 2021 at a venue to be announced. And we can honestly say, I think it was about 8-9 years ago, we were actually there the first time they tangled at the no longer there LA Sports Arena.
So much has changed. Estrada was completely unknown at the time.
Yes,
he was really a prospect out of Mexico, and Chocolatito was a pound-for-pound level fighter and 2-division champion. Estrada gave Chocolatito all he could handle. Chocolatito won that fight, just basically walked him down and outworked him. But you knew that they were going to meet again because Estrada was so young. I think he was like 22 years old at the time.
And the co-feature that night was Brian Valoria unifying against Luis Tyson Vasquez.
That's right. And in his very next fight, Estrada dethroned Valoria, who was a dual title holder at flyweight.
So we begin round number 2 here. Sanchez in the white and black trunks. Rodriguez in the sequin black and green.
That was an excellent opening round. I don't mean to cut you off there. Who do you think got the better of
You know, I thought
whom in that?
Sanchez got off to a really nice start, but the last minute or so, the play was taken by Hernandez, and Hernandez here in round number 2, out-hustling Sanchez early on.
Yeah, I gave a slight edge to Hernandez, who's
good body
getting
shot.
overpowered. Yeah, getting overpowered right now.
One thing is evident, though, being here ringside, Doug. Both men are throwing as hard as they can, but it is Sanchez with the advantage in power, and he seems to have shaken up Hernandez here in the second.
Yeah, there's more velocity on his shots. Better leverage, too, in part because he's taller and rangier.
A left hook to the body certainly got the attention of Hernandez.
That first round KO that Sanchez scored in his last fight was really off of a body shot knockdown. And I have noticed that when Sanchez throws a 3 or 4 punch combination, he likes to stick a body shot in there.
There's a good counter left hook by Sanchez. Sanchez really finding his groove here in the second.
Yeah, he's getting off well, and then he's moving out of reach of Hernandez. Hernandez has to be inside to get anything done.
Stay on the inside, Mark. No. Get close. Stay there. There you go. There you go. Just walk in with a feint or behind the jab.
And because we're here in this makeshift studio without an audience, we can hear every instruction being yelled from the corners. It's Hector Lopez in the corner of Hernandez and Manny Robles in the corner of Sanchez.
Hernandez seems to have steadied himself after some very rocky moments earlier in this round. Sanchez loading up on a lot of punches, heading into the last minute of round number 2. We are scheduled for 8.
You know what? I was going to call Sanchez's jab a stiff jab, but that's a shotgun jab. And he can often camouflage that jab and then turn it into a hook at the last second.
You know, one thing's very evident, though, Doug. The punches of Sanchez seem to have just a little bit more power, a little bit more vigor than Hernandez.
Definitely more snap, more pop. And right now, they're having more of an effect.
Do it again.
You guys got about 5 seconds, guys. Stop the bell.
And another action-packed round. Sanchez finishes it off with a right hand right at the bell and walking into the ring. And there you see some of our main event performers and their camps walking up the stairs. For people who've never been here, it's my first time actually. This is at the mezzanine level of the Omega Products Event Center. And really, we're surrounded by a warehouse full of construction material.
It's pretty cool. They do a great job. Yeah, just the production, but just the setup with the lighting and everything. We got the smoke in the air. It's kind of like a nightclub or something.
Yeah, and for Thompson Boxing, since July, this is their 4th show as they wrap up their 20th year of operations. I really admire any company at this point that can do fights basically in what is their versions of the bubble.
Yeah.
There you go.
And Sanchez again begins the round very quickly, digging from his heels, landing big left hooks, but Hernandez unbowed tries to stick right in there with him. You get the sense Hernandez needs to be up close and really more or less kind of smother some of the longer arms and the shots of Sanchez.
Yeah, and when he's inside, he needs to work the body of Sanchez, even if he's hitting arms and elbows, because he needs to take some speed off of Sanchez's fastballs. But it also behooves him to be in close because he's vulnerable to Sanchez's power when he's mid-range or at a distance.
There are times that Sanchez literally just seems to thrust his whole body into his punches, like right there with that right hand that came up short. That right hand lands, and so does that one.
Sanchez has a mean 1-2 combination.
Get the sense, though, with Sanchez, Doug, he's one of these guys who's more physically strong than actually being a devastating puncher.
That's true.
We've seen that dynamic with many other fighters.
You know, and if that's the case, like if his power doesn't increase with just his physical maturity, say like when he's 24 or whatever, I think it's probably better for him to focus on his technique and his speed.
Well, that's what Manny Robles was talking about, was rounding out some of the rough edges. If you go back to his loss to Edwin Rodriguez, a split decision in 10 rounds last summer, you kind of saw how at times he did become one-dimensional, not only in his punch placement, but also his rhythm inside that ring.
It's just that mentality of loading up with power shots over and over again.
Now you see Hernandez trudging forward.
Yep, this is what I was talking about. Hernandez has that character. He's got the guts that even when he's stung or hurt, it's in his character to get up and work extra hard. So I think Hernandez is really at his best as a pressure fighter and a volume puncher. And you can hear Hector Lopez tell him, bang that body. Every time you're in close, bang the body. That was a nice jab to the body from Hernandez.
He goes, you go.
One thing you got to wonder about guys like Sanchez when they load up as much as they do is after a couple of rounds, are they going to peter out?
Well, yeah, well, now Hernandez having a pretty good moment as he backs up Sanchez along the ropes.
Yeah, he landed a nice uppercut.
Is not one of these fighters I would describe as fuel efficient.
Right.
You know, guys that can get better throughout the night as they kind of find their groove. Sanchez is a guy that's going to start off really fast, and if he can't get you out of there within the first 3-4 rounds, it does leave you questions about how do they fare in the deep end of the pool.
This has turned into a competitive round. It looked like it was going to be a one-sided round in favor of Sanchez, but Hernandez has come on really strong in the final minute.
Oh, yeah. Good round.
Doug, last night in San Antonio, Texas, another, I think, notch on the belt for maybe the best fighter in the sport, or a guy that's on a lot of these pound-for-pound lists at the very top as we take a look at some of the action between Hernandez and Sanchez.
Yeah, this is probably the close of the round because it's Hernandez pressing Sanchez to the ropes, letting his hands go, banging the body with his right, coming over the top with his right, and there was a nice uppercut inside. That could have won him the round on at least one of the 3 official scorecards, Steve. I actually scored that round for Sanchez because I thought he started the first half of it. He was so strong and he was landing with more power.
Yeah. And Doug, as I was saying before the replay, Saul Alvarez captures the WBA super middleweight title with a conclusive dominant victory.
Do not fail to mention the Ring Magazine
and the
title.
Ring Magazine title.
Sitting next to the editor-in-chief here.
Against Callum Smith. Your thoughts on Canelo's performance last night?
I thought he would have a tougher time. I mean, I favored him like most people did. I thought it would, if it didn't go the distance, he would have to really work hard to stop Callum Smith. But I thought Callum Smith would win some rounds, legitimately win rounds. I scored the opening round for Smith, and that's it. It was all Canelo Alvarez. And I think it was the type of performance where if you're a Canelo Alvarez critic and you're one of those folks who said, he shouldn't be #1 pound for pound, he gave you second thoughts. He was like, he made you think maybe this dude is pound for pound. And you see right here, I have this a close fight, 29-28 in favor of Sanchez, but that third round could have easily gone to Hernandez. So you could flip those scores. We have a fight on our hands, Steve.
Yeah, once again, Sanchez and Hernandez
There you go.
battling it out on the inside. Neither man really taking control of this fight in terms of the strategic or physical dominance. Both men having their moments, almost trading bits and parts of this fight where they are in control.
Yeah, these are even exchanges, but I'm very impressed with Hernandez because he's the one who was hurt, looked like he was hurt or buzzed in round 2, and right now he's earning some respect and putting hands on young Sanchez. Sanchez is putting it right back on him, though.
Hernandez with a very, very dogged, determined effort here in round number 4 and throughout the night. After a quick start by Sanchez, he is settled in and he has now found himself in a legitimate battle. That's one of the things I think Manny Robles is going to look at. If you look at Sanchez, he's a taller guy, better reach. As they review the film, you might tell Sanchez he lands a good one too.
Yeah.
Why not establish the jab just a little bit more and try to be a little bit better from the perimeter? But that just may not be his temperament inside the ring.
Yeah. Manny used to work with Oscar Valdez, and he had sort of the same mentality where he was swinging for the home run with every punch. And I think it is difficult to kind of convince a young fighter who's, a good athlete and gets into great shape and just likes to fight, just to convince him that sometimes less is more.
Yeah, every time you see Sanchez throw a punch, you get the sense he's throwing every single ounce of himself into it.
Yeah, and he could do a lot just by working his jab. He could conserve his energy. He doesn't have to put everything into that left stick, and he could pile up points, wear out the face of Hernandez, keep Hernandez on the outside, and just pick his spots when you drop that right hand. But I just think it's Sanchez's mentality. As his nickname would allude, he's a beast. I just think it's in his mindset to go out there and wage war.
So another close round between Sanchez and Hernandez. Hernandez backing up Sanchez for much of the round and a pretty strong finish for round number 4 for Saul Sanchez. We are now halfway through this scheduled 8-rounder. And Doug, you talk about fighters being able to change pace. Going back to Canelo, when you watch a guy like him fight, you really see the mastery and the craft. Because there's a guy, he does change tempos and pacing, and the way he places punches, it also changes speed on them.
Right.
It's just masterful.
So he walked a giant down at the start of the fight. You look at these guys, and you're thinking Canelo is not in this guy's weight class. They looked at like different weight classes because Smith is so big, so much taller, and so much rangier. And yet Canelo was putting mental pressure on him as he was walking him down because Callum didn't know what to expect from Alvarez. And one thing I really admired about that performance, Alvarez's ability to out-jab a taller, rangier man.
Yeah, Callum was going to win every jump ball. He was not going to win that fight.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, so we begin round number 5 here. Saul Sanchez, Mario Hernandez digging in. It's been a good pitched battle between these two hard-nosed young men who have been a staple of the Thompson boxing program. Most of their fights have taken place at the Doubletree Hotel in Ontario, California.
Yeah, this has been more of a fight than a boxing match, although both guys have nice technique. You can see some wear and tear on both faces, a little puffiness under the eyes. I think more so around the right eye of Hernandez. And I like to see Hernandez work his way in with a jab.
Oh, and he gets caught a good, clean check hook from Sanchez off the ropes.
Yeah, and nice spin move, you know. Sanchez lands that punch and then moves out of position. Or moves out of range. He's actually moving in position for himself to land another shot like he just did right there.
I think it's safe to say Sanchez probably has the better physical tools, but Hernandez, to his credit, is so doggone pesky.
Yeah, he's the more mature fighter. He's 30, so he knows it's now or never. He has to make something happen, so I mean, he's always going to fight with a sense of urgency. But he's just got this kind of pride where he can be hurt in a fight, or you know, he can be outgunned or in with a bigger, stronger, better athletic talent, and he just digs in. He accepts the challenge, and he keeps working.
Good left hook to the body by Sanchez. Sanchez is finding some success here, Doug, in this round, counter-punching off the ropes, though. I will give him credit for that.
Yep. Having a moment right here, but he worked his way inside
now
with 3 jabs.
low.
Yeah.
You got it? Okay.
Agarra tu tiempo, no, agarra tiempo. No, agarra tu tiempo.
Time. It's going to be a timeout.
And Hernandez will get up to 5 minutes to recover from that foul. Been a relatively clean fight despite the intensity of both Sanchez and Hernandez. It's been a pitched battle inside the pocket.
Yeah, both guys probably welcomed this breather. Hernandez, of course, being a fighter, he was ready to get right back into it.
Let's go. Box.
And I can understand why he would, despite taking a low blows, because he was in command at the time. He was getting off. He was on the inside and putting hands on Sanchez. And now, of course, Sanchez is turning it right around.
Don't leave with your head.
Sanchez literally letting his hands go here at the end of the 5th, coming into the last minute. But Hernandez is undeterred, still stepping forward, still crowding Sanchez along the ropes.
Yeah.
Now you see blood coming out of the right nostril of Sanchez. So this has certainly been
Hernandez
a
is
physical
landing shots.
battle.
This is a hell of a round. And I think Sanchez obviously landing the harder shots and some head snapping shots, but Hernandez has stayed on top of Sanchez, and he's getting off and he's landing his shots, and he's starting to do damage just by accumulation.
Keep working, keep working, keep working.
And that's the end of round 5. And Doug, I think it's a close one. Do you like the flashy, harder punches of Sanchez, or do you like the consistency of Hernandez?
In that last round, I like the consistency of Hernandez. But legitimately close round. And actually the last 3 rounds have been close. Not an easy fight to score.
Doug, as we wrap it up on Canelo talk here throughout the middle of this fight, if you could wave a magic wand, as not just the editor of Ring Magazine, but also the commissioner of boxing.
Oh, yes.
Who does Canelo face next?
Oh, man. You know what? I want to see him in there with a big guy who is willing to use his size. I'm sick of seeing these big dudes. We saw it with Callum. We saw it with Sergey Kovalev. We saw it with Danny Jacobs, who are avoiding a 5'8" guy. I want to see a big man fight like a big man, and the one guy out there who will do that is David Benavidez.
Ooh.
He's crazy. He's strong. He's got pride. He's just a natural aggressor, and that's what I want to see. I want to see somebody push Canelo back on his heels. I want to see somebody outwork Canelo.
Well, speaking of being put on their heels and fighting, we have a good one between Saul Sanchez and Mario Hernandez coming down the home stretch. Round 6, we are scheduled for 8. Both men landing leather.
This is some good infighting.
Honestly, Doug, there's not a lot separating these two right now.
No, there isn't. Especially on close quarters, Hernandez can hang with Sanchez. Close quarters, he can even get the better of him at times. So it behooves Sanchez to get some distance and to control that distance. He's not doing that.
Nice right hand, Mario. Let's go, nice uppercut. Let's go, nice uppercut. Let's go.
Both trainers like what they're seeing from their fighters.
Nice body shot. Settle down.
And you can see it's getting close. I scored the last round, round 5 for Hernandez. Just thought he outworked him, got in his grill, kept him on the ropes, and put hands on the younger, bigger, stronger opponent. But I still have Sanchez up by 1 point.
One, two. Up that jab, baby. Keep that motion. Up that jab. Work. One, two, baby. That's it.
Does Sanchez look a little bit fatigued to you?
No, he does. I don't think there's any doubt. There's a little bit of steam left off of his punches that was very evident in round 1, 2, and 3. But again, we said this. He's the type of guy that's going to really clinch his fist as hard as he can on every punch and punch from his heels. Those fighters generally are going to have a bit of an issue down the stretch. So we saw a fight like that on Friday with Gongora, making a late rally against Ali Akhmedov.
Oh, yeah, Carlos Gongora, that's one of the upsets of the year, or it's an upset of the year candidate.
And Doug, he was like the tortoise versus the hare. Akhmedov jumped off real quickly with power punching, but the smooth technician in Gongora literally just picked him apart.
And you know what? Like Sanchez, Akhmedov was loading up with every shot. Definitely headhunting.
Although that was a pretty good right hand, a good combination by Sanchez. Sanchez again, letting his hands go, 2-3 punches at a time. Hernandez seems to be buzzed.
Yeah, I thought this was Hernandez's round. No, he's coming back, getting Sanchez against the ropes, working the body and working the head. But that moment of trouble that Hernandez in, that might be enough to sway this round for Sanchez.
When it comes down to it, the punches of Sanchez are just a little bit harder with a little bit more velocity, but Hernandez showing an incredible amount of determination in another close round between Sanchez and Hernandez as they come down the stretch.
This is a hell of a fight. I hope people are watching. Sanchez teeing off with 1-2s, hook cross combinations on the inside.
And Doug, you just look at the facial expression of Sanchez. You could just see him grimacing. And one habit I think they're going to try to fix, I don't know if they can, his mouth is wide open. That's something you generally don't want.
But that flurry right there, that salvo from Sanchez won him round 6 on my card. And that was a round, until that point, I thought it was Hernandez's round. He does look tired, though, between rounds here. Let's see if Hernandez can take advantage of that.
Sanchez, after a stint with Joel Diaz in Coachella, has been reunited with Manny Robles. Well-respected trainer, best known, I guess, for his Cinderella run with Andy Ruiz, now in charge of Sergey Bohachuk, very good junior middleweight prospect.
What's the matter, Papa?
No more punching, no more punching.
Doug, there's 6 minutes to go here. I think both corners have to tell their guys, we need both these rounds.
Yeah, and I think it's all about activity for Hernandez. Get inside and just outwork Sanchez, because Sanchez is petering out a little bit, but he's still dangerous. Oh, that's nice. Nice triple jab from Sanchez on the fly. I think that's what he really needs to be doing. He needs to control the distance.
Don't chase him like that. That's it. Back him up. That's it. Take it.
Hernandez has got to get his jab going just to disrupt Sanchez's jab and also to enable him to step forward and get in close.
Good right hand by Sanchez.
Back to the jab.
No, don't run in, Mario. Send your feet apart.
And you can hear the corner of Hernandez imploring their fighter not to run in so recklessly as he has been able to run, has not been able to necessarily avoid some of the counter salvos of Sanchez here in the late stages.
Sanchez is boxing smart in round 7. He's controlling the distance with his jab and his lateral movement. Oh,
There's another fearing jab there by Sanchez, snapping the head back of Hernandez.
like I said earlier, that's a shotgun jab.
See, I think this is the stuff that Manny Robles is going to like, that it doesn't always have to be all offense. There's a way to kind of shorten fights and strategically win them with not expelling so much energy all the time.
Yeah, especially against a shorter opponent with shorter arms, who doesn't have the fastest feet. And lateral movement alone is going to cause Hernandez problems, and we're seeing it in this round.
1-2, Sal. 1-2, Sal.
Over the top.
Under a minute to go here in round number 7. It's been an effective one for Sanchez, although Hernandez having some success here, letting both hands go, then a quick 1-2 in return by Saul Sanchez.
There, boy. Way to work off those moves. Catch him coming in.
Búscalo, como estamos. Búscalo.
And calendar. That's it. And turn him around.
And you can see Sanchez, there's a particular pattern. When he's on the ropes, he's going to look for that counter left hook or the right hand right down the middle as he employs that catch and counter.
Again, the jab. Nice. Hey, nice. Beat him to the
You know there's been a lot of punches landed when the Everlast logo on one of the gloves is basically fading from Saul Sanchez.
This has been a high activity fight, high contact fight as well. You'll see the blood from the nostrils of Sanchez. You see the swelling around the right eye of Hernandez. Hernandez is he's doggedly determined.
7 down, 1 to go. It's been a nip and tuck affair between Sanchez and Hernandez.
I think Hernandez has to do something big in this 8th and final round, though. I just don't know if he has the power to drop Sanchez.
Ladies and gentlemen, here at the Omega Products International Event Center, one more to go. This is the 8th and final round.
All the weeks and months of road work, time in the gym, and discipline, it's really for moments like this. 3 minutes to go, both young men. Hernandez, older at age 30, looking to really revive his career after a loss back in February of 2019, and Sanchez trying to continue his ascent up the junior bantamweight limit. Got 3 minutes to go. We begin round number 8.
Ahora regrese. Regrese con el otro.
Again, the 1-2, baby.
Va a seguir. Suéltalo.
Yes. Take him back. Atta boy, next right.
Both men starting off quickly, exchanging 1-2s. Good right hand by Sanchez.
And get under.
Yeah, and Sanchez's punches are shifting Hernandez. They're causing his head to turn and for him to take like half a step back.
Double up on the jab.
Suéltalo. Allí,
Mark you
Mario.
up. Turn him around now.
Dámosle. There you go. Ahora arriba de mí.
Now, Steve, I wonder here, was it Hernandez who pushed Sanchez back to the ropes, or was that Sanchez willingly going to
I
the
think there is a
ropes?
strategic element to what Sanchez is doing. He feels very comfortable timing and counterpunching Hernandez, and once again he digs the left hook to the body. You know, I wouldn't call him a natural counterpuncher, but against Hernandez, he seems very comfortable. Oh, good right hand over the top. That hurts Hernandez.
Yeah, landed right to the ear and caused Hernandez to lose his footing.
Atta boy. Take him right up the middle. Back him up. Back him up. Put him down.
More than
Let's go,
one.
baby.
Don't push
Go,
it
Sal.
inside.
Right inside. Let's go.
Get ahí. Don't move forward, Mario.
Pick him up. Pick
Muy
him
bien.
up.
Nice body shot.
Set up that 1-2.
Come back up.
Pick him up.
Come back
Gotta
up.
work.
Dos con ganas. Get your hands up.
1-2.
Halfway through round number 8, it's been a pretty good one for Sanchez. Hernandez eats a right hand, but he remains undeterred, putting on a really determined effort here in round number 8 and throughout the night.
Yeah, hats off to both fighters. They've both given a tremendous effort.
Now go to work.
And they're fighting this 8th round very hard. So they're emptying the tank, trying to close the show properly. And I think they put on a really, Sanchez's punches have straight low more than once.
There was a good left hook right to the gut of Hernandez, but Hernandez just keeps trudging forward, crowding Sanchez right up along the corner, his own corner. Under a minute to go here in this battle. It's been a pitched battle throughout the first 8 rounds and nothing has changed. Saul Sanchez came into this bout with a record of 14-1. Hernandez 10-1-1.
Both guys 2 bouts removed from the first career losses, and I think losses make young fighters better. It gives them something to fight for, to train for. They go over their mistakes, whatever they did wrong, and they correct that, and they come back better. And they always come back more determined, and you're seeing determination from both sides.
Sanchez landing some good strafing right hands here in round number 8, punctuating what has been a very good effort. Hernandez trying to finish off this fight, putting an exclamation point on what's been a very admirable effort, and that's it. 8 down between Sanchez and Hernandez in what was a back-and-forth battle throughout.
Yeah, I got Sanchez winning handily, but there were some close rounds that perhaps could have gone to Hernandez, and who knows, maybe they did on 1 or 2 of the official judges' scorecards, but I think Sanchez earned this 8-round decision.
After going the distance here at the Omega Products International Event Center, we consult the official scorecard to determine a winner. Judges Skies Jr. and Villarreal turn in identical scorecards of 78-74, and Judge Stevens scores it 79-73. All in favor of the winner by way of unanimous decision. The Beast, Saul Sanchez.
So there you have it, Saul Sanchez getting his hands raised in victory. Your scores once again, 78-74 twice, 79-73. So basically 6 rounds to 2,
Yeah.
and then 7 rounds to 1. And Doug, you know with Sanchez, he's going to be a guy, he's always going to throw hard punches, and he's going to think later. But I thought there was a little bit of nuance to this performance tonight, counter-punching off the ropes, working off the ropes. But you get the sense Manny Robles still has a lot of work to do.